All right. And I was afraid this was going to happen, and it did.
Mm.
So now that Breath of the Wild has come out, and it's a very different game in the Zelda franchise. If you've never played a Zelda game before, number one, what are you doing with your life? That's for you too.
I'm going too soon.
So, but yeah, secondly, Zelda games have kind of been formulaic in that there's always about 8 or 9 or so dungeons. Sometimes they do 4, like in Majora's Mask. But they'll have like really big dungeons in that case. But there will usually be about 8 of them or 9 of them, and each one has an item that you then go, and it's like the key to beating the boss and doing like, it's like first half of the dungeon you don't have the item, second half of the dungeon you have the item, and you use it to like stun the boss so that you can actually damage it with your sword. That's been like pretty much standard Zelda stuff. Especially with the 3D games, they've really kept to that formula. So now that Breath of the Wild has come out, and you can, if you're really good at the game, you could take your 3 hearts and your 1 stamina wheel and go fight Calamity Ganon. And I think speedrunners have beaten the game in, I think the record at this point is down to about 55 minutes from start to finish beating the game.
Oh my goodness.
And they designed the game with that in mind. Just giving you that much freedom to where, yeah, you can go and beat the game anytime you feel confident enough to beat it. Of course, I'm not playing it that way. I want to do absolutely everything that I can before.
So you think it'll be really easy by the time you get to do the final boss battle?
Probably. Well, easier.
Yeah.
That's hopefully. See, I like it when the final boss is like the most difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't like it when it's like, no.
It's like, well, that was sounds like climactic.
There's actually harder things to do. I mean, Final Fantasy actually does that. Like, there's some side quests that are actually more difficult than the final boss, but I just prefer it that way. Now, I had to bring this. As soon as I saw this article, I was just like, okay, what in the world are they talking about? It's an article on Game Sutra, if you want to look it up. And the title of it is How Breath of the Wild Solved the Legend of Zelda Situational Item Problem. Okay.
Or which translates to, I've run out of topics to write about, so here's something interesting about Breath of the Wild.
Let's talk about how Breath of the Wild reveals that all of the previous Zelda games are actually not that good. Because they rely on a formula, or that they are linear and they don't give you much choice as far as what order you do things. So I'm going to try to keep my thoughts organized as best I can here. So let me read some of this article. So, and this also uses a video on YouTube, the title of which, let me see if I can play this without it like, nope, there we go, okay. So it basically says how Breath of the Wild fixes the item problem, and this is on YouTube.
By having them break all the time, right?
Huh?
By having them break all the time.
Yeah, your items just break on you. Your melee and your bows and your shields, which are your 3 main weapons. Nothing wrong about that, by the way, and I'll get to that later. But the channel's name is Turbo Button, and this is how the article brings it up. It says, a recent video from Turbo Button explores how the design of Breath of the Wild shatters the structure of Zelda by looking at items in a completely different way. As explored in the video above, items in the newest Zelda title are made to interact with the world and each other rather than just as gadgets that simply exist to offer solutions to different variations of the same problem. That is so not the case. That's my words, not the article. But anyway, I'm going to stay organized. Past Zelda games saw items from a lock and key point of view. The spinner from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is cited as a prime example of this. The dungeon designed around the spinner is filled with interesting rooms and puzzles that take advantage of its unique mode of mobility, but outside of the dungeon, the item is all but useless. So let's talk about the spinner from Twilight Princess. This got me a little bit heated reading this because I have played almost every Zelda game there is. Almost. I have not played Skyward Sword or Wind Waker.
Despite the poster right behind you.
I know. I like the art direction. It's on my list of games to play. It's not that I don't own it. It's just that I haven't played it. I have not played Wind Waker. Those are probably like the two biggest.
I've heard a lot of good things about Wind Waker. You just don't like the art style?
That I don't like. I don't really enjoy playing as Kid Link. That's one reason I don't like.
Something against kids, Steven.
I don't like playing as kids. Yeah, I'd rather play as an adult or like a late teenager.
But what difference does it really make?
Because that was what was so cool about Ocarina of Time. It's like, oh, you start out as young Link, but you're only young Link for like 3 dungeons, and then you get the Master Sword and you grow up. Like 7 years pass. That was like, oh, that was so cool. And it's like Majora's Mask. Hey, guess what? The whole game, you're Kid Link. It's like, but I want to play as cool Link. No, it's not an option.
You're a kid.
Now you can become Fierce Deity Link, who's about as close as you can get to being adult Link, and he is really cool. But I still don't like the game that much for that reason. Anyway, you may disagree, but every Zelda fan can have his opinions, except when it comes to calling things problems which are not problems.
To lying, as one way to put it.
I wouldn't call it lying. I would just calling it using incorrect terminology.
Well, I'm talking about like what they say about how it's not used again.
Oh yeah, there are lies in this article, and let me go through some of them. So it mentions the spinner from Twilight Princess. Now, in Twilight Princess, I want to say you get the spinner in the last dungeon before you go to take on Ganondorf. That also happens with the light arrows in Ocarina of Time, as well as the mirror shield and the golden gauntlets, all from Ocarina of Time. These are all items which you will only use a handful of times. The golden gauntlets you use twice in the whole game. That's it. They're only good for two areas of the game. No one complains about that, and I'm not complaining, by the way. I'm just saying that if you're going to say that the spinner in Twilight Princess is a problem because it only has limited uses, and by the way, it doesn't. It actually has more uses in the overworld. There's some places in the overworld where you have to use the spinner to get either a certain heart piece or a stash of rupees or a treasure chest, something. There's actually, it's not just a one and done, you use it in the dungeon and then you never use it again. That's just a blatant lie. But yeah, as I was talking about, there's the mirror shield. You only use that a handful of times. Golden gauntlets, you use it twice. And
no, none of these take up like inventory slots, right? Where you have to like, you only have a certain amount of space.
Sacrifice? No. That's,
who cares?
In Zelda, there's always been like just enough inventory space for all the stuff that you get. Let's go through some of these items. The bow and arrow, which you used to find as a dungeon item, indispensable for combat. One of my favorite items, the hook shot, completely changes the game once you get it. Talking about Ocarina of Time. Once you get the claw shot, and you can get a second claw shot in Twilight Princess. So the hook shot will bring you to a place kind of like the grapple gun.
Doesn't the claw thing bring things to you?
It can. So can the hook shot, though. They're similar. The only thing is, the difference is the claw shot, you can latch to something and then hang on it. And then if you have a second claw shot, then you can like claw shot somewhere else. It kind of turns you into Spider-Man.
There's Batman, and then there's Spider-Man.
There's Batman, and then there's Spider-Man. One is better when it comes to traversing Spider-Man. So... And here's if you want me to throw a problem at Breath of the Wild, the hook shot is my favorite Zelda item aside from the Master Sword.
What's so cool about the Master Sword?
It's a cool sword.
Okay.
It just looks cool, and it's like the sword of legend in the game, and it feels like Excalibur. You know,
I don't know what that is.
Excalibur, King Arthur. pulling the sword from the stone.
That's what it's called?
Excalibur is the name of the sword. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And there's actually an Excalibur in Final Fantasy. You should look for it.
In the first game?
I want to say, yeah. There's always been an Excalibur.
If there is, it's not going to be the best. Because I already know
I
what
think
the best
Barbarian's Axe or Barbarian something is.
Well, the best sword in the game is like...
Or best weapon.
It's like the flame
Barbarian
sword
Axe.
or something like that.
Excalibur may be better, but I haven't played in a while. Anyway, so the hookshot is so cool because it's so versatile, and once you get it, you are using it constantly.
A whole new world.
No. Did I say that? Did I say a whole?
No. I'm just saying you can do all kinds of other stuff.
So you can, it completely changes everything about the game. It makes life much easier. I've been playing Breath of the Wild for a while now. Haven't run into a hookshot. In fact, I don't think that they have one yet. If you want to talk about problems, like this one, the guy in this video said that it's cool that you can get a boomerang and that you actually have to hit a button to catch it when you throw the boomerang and it comes back to you.
In what?
In Breath of the Wild.
Oh, you can get boomerangs?
Yeah. The boomerang used to be a key item. Now it's just another one of the many weapons that break on you. Which you can call a problem if you want to. And here's my deal. I'm not ragging on Breath of the Wild. But you can't just... I don't like the fact that, now that Breath of the Wild comes out, it's such a great game, we're going to knock every other Zelda game because it doesn't follow this strategy. It's like, no, they can both be good. They can both be great at what they do. But don't say that, other games have problems. Because if you go by that definition, then I can, like I've shown you, I can just as easily go back and say, well, Breath of the Wild has this problem by that standard that you're using. So I think people it's probably just clickbait that people... It's so funny, too, because I'm going to go a bit on a tangent here. YouTube, it's called... it's known for the comment section and all of the flame wars that go back and forth between people. And who complains about it? The content creators. The content creators are the ones that are clicking all these clickbait videos that people click on because they're just like, I can't believe they're insulting this thing that I like. And then someone else in the comment happens to agree with the video, and then they're just like, you're an idiot, and that starts a war in the comment section. So, YouTube creators out there, maybe you shouldn't make clickbaity stuff to get people mad so that they'll click on your video and you get more views.
And complain about it.
And then turn around and complain about it. Exactly. If you're going to do that, own it. Don't be hypocritical and be like, I just don't know about all this YouTube drama and why can't people be nice in the comments? Just, no, you're part of that cycle. So, yeah, but then Game of Sutra, of course, had to take it a step forward, and they're like, you know what? He's right. All these other Zelda games have this problem with the items that you can only use in certain areas. Well, at least I have a bow that's not going to break on me. Or sword that's not the Master Sword that's not going to break on me. And I don't know this yet because I haven't gotten it, but I've actually heard that the Master Sword only has it while it's an unbreakable weapon.
Yeah, if the Master Sword broke.
Well, it's not a breakable weapon, but I've actually heard it has to recharge.
Yeah.
You can't use it unlimited times.
I mean, that makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Why
It doesn't make sense because no other Zelda game has done that with their Master Sword, and it's
you mean
the
you can
same,
use it for a certain amount of time and then you have to wait and then use it again?
something like that. I haven't been able to
Like a
verify that
recharge?
yet. Yeah, like a cooldown period for it. Never had to do that in a Zelda game before. If that's something that you can't fix or you can't it'd be okay if you get the Master Sword first and then you have to do something else to make it so that you can use it as many times as you want. I'm okay with that. But if it's stuck like that the whole game, I'm not okay with that. I would actually call that a problem. But yeah, just you don't have to go back and insult earlier games because you like the new one. That's great if you like the new one. I like the new one too. It's probably my favorite Zelda game ever. But I don't feel the need to go back and be like, oh yeah, this fixes this problem. That's actually not really a problem in the first place.